Greetings and welcome to the energy of Cancer. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division. Within the Order of the Twin Sun, please take only what you will. The fourth house is now open, which is the house of the inner realm, but also the first house of moksha, the path to liberation, the path to the Akash. Um, and essentially, with this, there is also what I would like to call uh, the mirror, okay, which is the mirror of the inner world reflecting into the outer world within the axis of the 4 and 10. What becomes reflected essentially is through the mode of action, wherein we gaze into the mirror, there is something on the other side that reflects a parallel, okay? And usually this takes the form of karma, okay? It's something that is often seen in the guise or the purview of motherhood, which is essentially a very sacred role, at least esoterically. And within the occult, we can understand the mother through the cup of Christ, in which there is a reception, but also a containing mechanism in which there is a type of stargate, a place or a space. The fourth house represents the womb, in order for that space to sort of receive life, okay, receive or bring forward a new soul, okay. Now with this energy, there's a big propensity to run into people who are designed to reflect this karma and for them to deal with essentially the gross materialities of this connection, okay, that reflects some sort of alleviation that is through the nurturing energy of the fourth house. There is an ability to take these individuals and give them some form of emotional sustenance that will help them to find and represent truths about greater truths, okay, greater truths. And that's what the energy of Capricorn, it, it sort of fosters, because it's the triplicity of Earth which moves from the second to the sixth to the 12th, the 10th houses, 2, 6, and 10. So there's this feeling of essentially the mountain that comes through it. Women or mothers birthing mountains and bringing forward these mountain-like qualities. Okay, um, Capricorn, which is the opposite to the fourth house, the 10th house, also is symbolized through uh, the sea goat, which is a mythical creature. It's something in between, not known in terms of fossil evidence. Um, so it's a very intense sign. These people are intense in that they have um, this mythological type of energy to them. And that's a strange thing about Capricorns, is that often what Cancer pulls in, okay, is a sense that you would nurture a myth, or you would nurture something in terms of them representing two different worlds, that of the earth and the water element. Very strong emotional connection indeed. Now we'll go ahead and begin. So firstly, I would like to thank you, and also to note that I'll be pulling in the karmic resonances for the month of September 2022 for the energy of Cancer with this small pre-read, and then we'll be moving over to the Great Mirror. Okay. There is a detached way of seeing things for the month of September. If things have fallen apart in terms of relationships, different ways of thinking, and then coming up with a still space within that thinking, I see nothing but good in terms of the progression towards detached ways and detached modes of analytical thinking. But at the same time, it triggers a lot of Two of Swords energy within this reading. So what is that? Essentially, it's the middle path, not taking one path or the other, and sort of seeing with new moon cycles, new moon energy, a deep mirror where you can find and reflect on the inner path, the inner world. Okay. Usually it involves two truths or two ways of saying things, not being able to say much at all in terms of expressing all of this. So it's important to step back and let the moon cycle take its place to understand an inner reflection of the outer world. Okay. Um, this also has to do with the loss of something in terms of the heart space, not being able to connect with others. Ultimately, I find that this karma has to do with either dealing with people or being influenced in such a way that you would need to uh, hold your cards close to your chest, sort of energy where there's a need to essentially, especially with any relationships, um, to be reserved in some way, shape, or form, to be protected, to be grounded in a space of conservation or reservation, to be reserved. Uh, and there's nothing wrong with that. At the same time, yeah, I think it's a very positive reading in terms that you are not going to be sort of fooled uh, into any of the sort of outward projections of communication that might fall short to what you really mean for the month of September. That's what I'm seeing. Now we're moving over to the Great Mirror, and the Great Mirror is a tool devised by the Order of the Twin Sun in order to see particular resonant karmas or frequencies, uh, actions, modes of action, modes of perception within the Great Mirror. On one side there will be Cancer, on the other side will be someone of significance in terms of representing a connection within the human plane. Um, and the mirror can show what's in between you two, so we'll go ahead and begin that now. This is for the month of September for the energy of Cancer. Yeah, so there is not very good communication with this connection. Um, Mercury in retrograde is strongly informing this reading. Lots of Mercury energy in this. So a message needs to be communicated here. This symbolizes a connection that cannot be formulated into words. Words fall short in this connection. Whomever you're dealing with, there is a knight about them, not a knight in shining armor. It's a knight with an N-I-G-H-T, Nuit. Um, and there's a lot of devotion to what they do. There's a reflective quality in this. Because the Ace of Rods showed up earlier, it was in the past and in the reverse. Um, Now the funny thing is that that switches over in this reading, and you are being represented through the card of Naissance or the Ace of Rods. Okay. which is a interesting dynamic in that you are being inspired to work on this connection. The thing is that with all this reverse Mercury energy, it is difficult to commune with such a person, but the light is there. Both of you bring this fire, fire being a key motif that sort of brings the connection together. Um, and this is all well known consciously. At the same time, you are given something in terms of inspiration to bring light to such a situation. Now, with the Two of Pentacles in the reverse, there is a still point within the space, within the expectations of the whole, when two wholes come together or when two halves come together to create unity. Um, there's an entanglement here, but it's tethered through the rays of light. It's a spiritual sort of connection, whatever you're dealing with. It's a very strong one in that the element of naissance, the element of fire, the element of bringing light is very strong here to each other. And it cannot be defined by words. It's more defined by syllables, okay, which are usually sort of fragments of sounds, as opposed to fully formulated words that have, multiple syllabic structures, conglomerates. So there's a lot to be said in terms of the connection bringing forward a sense of radiance, okay? On a conscious level, it heightens the higher self and the spirit, and it imbues the connection in terms of this fire element. Virgo is very much strong on their end, okay? And consciously, there's a self-reflective quality. They can be affected very much by their own moods. They're very reserved in terms of their own private space as well. But it's funny, it's because from that private space, there's essentially a radiance about them. There's a glow. Now, we have penchant, we have homme de robe, and ham méchant. We have argent. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of earth defining and rooting this situation on their end. They have the Seven of Pentacles, Saturn, and Jupiter watching over them through Mercury, okay? Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury in the triplicity of Earth, okay? So already I'm seeing that this person stimulates the material plane for you, and there's a lot that you can do to chill the fire, okay? To sort of let the fire cool off in some sort of way. And this allows for primarily a virginal quality within the connection, an innocent capacity. Okay, it's like children sharing in some way, shape, or form. The Sun card is not here, nor is the Star card. I think what they deal with is a great realm of expectation. Okay. They also bring forward a sense of presence and ambition in what they do, and perhaps this type of ambition or this need to sort of balance out others in terms of what they're dealing with in karma, what they're dealing with in sort of the projections of their lifestyle into the 10th house. Okay, because remember, it's from the 2 to the 6 to the 10, the triplicity of Earth activate. So there's something about the immediacy of their world, the immediacy of what they do, what they affect, how they do, and how they affect others, that is intended to balance out something in terms of energy, in terms of time, in terms of resources. And they are gifted in that they can do this. At the same time, there's a great realm of expectation in terms of either going with the order, going with the way things should go, to make out the Ten of Pentacles, okay, to make out a sense of something familiar, something that is worthwhile in terms of a humanitarian effort to express our own humanity. They want to be grounded in that. At the same time, what often gets away is a sense of a loss of order or rebellious tendency within them. to create their own order. There's definitely a boss in whomever you're dealing with, someone who is here to build empires or legacies. At the same time, the card of union through the lovers is here. Two of Cups did show up earlier. Um, that was under the Four of Pentacles as an influence for your period with the marriage card here, mariage. There is the Hierophant and two lovers reaching out and a holy ritual being done in order to affect some sort of worldly connection. Okay, but it's not only that; it has to be sort of sublimated with each sacral vow that is taken through marriage. Let's say it is a ritualistic intention. It's designed to create a tether within two people and to bind them in such a way that would create a type of union for those who are within the ritual. And it's funny because it's not only the two people, but it's also the priest, and then that all sublimates into the spiritual plane. Okay. And all that said, I do see here someone who is very much activated through Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. Okay. Wanting to sort of balance things out, wanting to see this connection as a gift. At the same time, there's something about you with three. You symbolize essentially something that is not normal, and it goes against the sort of way of the connection because it is innocent. There's something about your innocence that does not want to be tainted through the coloration of marriage or through the coloration of some form of union that would transcend any material obligations, that would also sublimate all of that expectation through a rebellious sort of agnostic way of seeing things, almost realistic in a way. To go against that and to be very clear and cut and precise and to be a purveyor of truth, also a champion of wisdom in terms of detached ways of seeing this type of connection. I think deep down inside, with the Page of Cups in the reverse, the veil is lifted, and it also includes the sort of the transfixed expectations of the material realm or the karmic realm where things materialize. You're able to see that and no longer see that for the mystery or the illusion of what it is. Okay, and that's sort of the one of the takeaways of the readings. Now, if you're dealing with someone who has this great expectation in terms of sort of bringing forward Three of Pentacles, negating all of that, I think you may mirror this person in terms of trying to be reserved in some way, shape, or form, trying to preserve your own inclinations, which are informed by Venus primarily, but also by getting rid of the Neptunian veil, by getting rid of sort of the nonsense of romance, with the nonsense of expectations. Okay, there's an inner anarchist here that has become a patriarch on your side, or a matriarch, a purveyor of truth, of wisdom. Okay, and it also speaks of the progression of the mystery or the triplicity of air, which moves to more into sort of intelligent or intellectualized forms of self-representation through detachment. Then that could perhaps be one of your blocks. At the same time, it's one of your mainstays. It's something that helps you to become elevated to such a degree that you are above the mountain in that high altitude. Essentially, it becomes more stratospheric in nature, or it gets projected outwards. There's something fleeting about your energy when it comes to this connection. Therein lies the Two of Swords in the mirror, as well as the Two of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Six of Swords in the reverse. Now, this is a long-standing connection. The distance is very apparent here, and you somewhat contribute to that. At the same time, there's something about them that repels you away from that. And this also speaks about finding your own sense of order, finding your own sense of stillness, both of you finding a sense of almost friendship in this. And there's also a type of declaration here that has to do with things past, water under the bridge, and essentially coming up with uh, a way to view that water as it moves away on the down the river and away from the bridge. Um, so there are emotions here, great emotions that inform uh, each other. It helps to get rid of the Three of Swords that meet from both of you to the center point. And Three of Swords usually indicates pain, expectation meeting expectations, the mind coming together. And this is all symbolic in terms of what is being spelt out for me is a friendship or a companionship that has just sort of gotten its way. In terms of advice, the advice is to find the hidden realm of experience within this. Find the scar that is not visible, yet it is present, and find a way to mend that in some way, shape, or form. Okay, that is my best in terms of the month of September. I do wish you well, and thank you. Bye bye.